Actually, during the hiring procedure, during the recruitment, of course, I have to select those who are already possessing potentials and skills.
Sama sa Sobat Aksara.
Halo Sobat Literasi, kita berjumpa lagi di podcast PBSI Unipma bersama saya Bagus dan rekan saya
Anfania
dan saya Nurul. Pada kesempatan kali ini kita kedatangan seorang tamu spesial yaitu Bapak Mr. Darwin Andreas dari Nueva Ecija University of Science and Technology atau NEUS Philippines. Beliau saat ini mengikuti program Faculty Mobility di Program Studi Pendidikan Bahasa dan Sastra Indonesia Unipma.
Hello sir, welcome to BBSI Podcast and welcome to our beloved campus Unipma. How are you today, sir?
I'm happy. I'm full. I just have taken my lunch.
On this occasion, we will discuss about your experience during visit Indonesia and also Madiun, and also your experience in journalism.
Baik, pertama-tama saya akan membacakan profil singkat dari Bapak Darwin. Jadi, Bapak Darwin ini sedang menempuh program doktoral di bidang Education Management in the Wesleyan University, Philippines.
Beliau biasanya mengajar dalam bidang General Education, Professional Education, and major in English subject, seperti Structure of English, Literary Criticism, Teaching and Assessment of Literature Studies, Campus Journalism, Teaching and Assessment of Grammar, Teaching and Assessment of the Macro Scale, Technical Writing, and also Survey of Afro-Asian Literature.
Sobat Literasi, saya akan menanyakan lebih lanjut kepada Bapak Darwin terkait dengan pengalamannya selama di Indonesia. Okay, sir, how do you feel when you visit Indonesia?
It's a mixed emotion because one, I am excited because it's my first time to be here in Indonesia. The second one is a little bit, I'm not saying nervous, but I have to make some adjustments. Because I will be dealing with people who are not from my country. I am dealing with Indonesian students, Indonesian teachers, and some other locals here in Indonesia.
Alright, sir, can I have your opinion about what is like society in Madiun?
Again, way back November 3 when I first arrived here, I found the city peaceful, very organized. The people are very accommodating. But in some few days, when I rode with the vehicles here, I found out many differences when I compared to the Philippines. In the Philippines, we use the right lane when we drive. Here, we use the left lane, the kiri. In the Philippines, our wheels are on the left side. Here, you have on the right side. So, the people here are really similar among the Filipinos. In fact, when Ibu Azri and Ibu Nurul accompanied us in Yogyakarta, some people there thought that I am an Indonesian. They are talking to me in Bahasa. Then when I started speaking in English, they got shocked. And Ibu Nurul and Ibu Azri just told them that I am not an Indonesian, and they got amazed also because probably I look like Indonesian. So for that, I feel I am at home and I feel I belong. It seems that I am Indonesian, and I'm happy for that.
We are glad to have you here, sir.
And what do you think about the food, drink, and weather here? Are there any similar or different with Philippines?
The food, the drinks,
The drink and weather.
weather, the weather.
Yeah.
Weather, it's very similar to the Philippines. It's just that I found out that it's rarely that it is being visited by typhoons. Right now in the Philippines, we have typhoons. While I'm still here, since November 3, we already have 3 or 4 typhoons. In here, I only experienced 3 to 4 rains, but it's not. They are not that too heavy, unlike in the Philippines. For the food, Oh, Titak Pedas. No.
It's
So,
why.
yeah, I learned that. I have my colleagues from NUST also told me that, sir, if you don't want spicy food, just say Titak Pedas. So when I arrived here, oh, Titak Pedas. But when I tried to taste some foods that according to Ibu Asrin, Ibu Nurul, and Parihan, they are just slightly spicy when I tried. Now, yours slightly food is actually streamed to us. But there are some food, there are some dishes here which are very much familiar. I tried the sayur asem.
Oh, yeah.
Sayur
Sayur
asem.
asem.
I love that yesterday. And the water.
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 The small
Yeah.
fish.
Small fish, yes.
Yes, because as if I am just eating some Filipino foods. And just this lunch, I tasted the gulay.
Gulay.
Okay. It tastes like our papaet in the Philippines. Yeah. So the differences, and you have some terms here familiar or the same with the terms in the Philippines. You have your kambing, you have your mangga. They are just kambing and mangga.
Yes.
Your kanan is kanan in the Philippines. And even the lima, that's lima in Filipino. So it's easier for me to communicate because there are some words which are just similar in the Philippines.
We heard you have visited Yogyakarta. Which place did you visit? And how was it in Yogyakarta, actually?
Yogyakarta seems like the Divisoria in the Philippines. The items or the products are very cheap, so I enjoyed a lot. So I spent a lot. I haven't done yet with my lectures, but I have done yet with my budget. I already spent most of my money. We've been to the museum, to Maliaboro. What else? We went there in the particular point zero of Yogyakarta.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, we've been there. So it's a good place. So it's a good place to buy products and pasalubong or the souvenirs. We call our souvenirs as pasalubong.
When you visit Museum Sono Budoyo, right? Are you interested in any art?
Generally, I have to rate the museum probably 11 over 10. I got amazed. I am not into arts, but upon visiting the museum, looking at the Asian works, Asian things, some other tools being used, the culture, I got amazed. There's also a particular part where I can watch the Ramayana.
Yes.
There is a film there, and I forget the name of another epic, but I love it. I will look back on my phone and I will search for the title. And since I am teaching Afro-Asian literature, wherein I also teach literature of Indonesia, I can share more because of my experience in that museum. I forgot again the name of the museum. Sorry.
Museum Sono Budoyo.
That's it. That's it. I learned that.
Have you tried to eat in like a special food from Yogyakarta, like a bakpia or gudeg? Did you try to eat in like a special food? Yeah.
The one in the stick, chicken
Oh,
Satay.
satay.
satay with peanut sauce.
Yes.
Yeah, I tried that because we're looking. I and Ma'am Anna, another
Yeah.
faculty from NUST, we're looking for street foods.
Yes.
So grilled street food. So when we saw that without asking, we bought and we tasted, and it's good. Enjoy the food, the satay.
Yeah.
Satay. Ayam satay.
Satay ayam.
Satay ayam.
Yeah,
Okay,
satay
satay ayam. With the peanut sauce.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that.
Well, next, after the U-turn to be the place advisor while serving as the head of News Student Publication Office, and during this time, the publication regional and national awards. That's right, sir?
Yeah.
Can you tell me what they are?
Actually, when I was the advisor of the place or
Yes.
the publication, we won awards in national level in writing magazine, in writing newsletter, broadsheet, and even literary folio. And some of my students or my staffers even won individual awards as champion in sketching, champion, or in sports writing, news writing. We competed with different schools, and we won. And the credits will go to the students, not to me.
Oh, that's really awesome, sir. Awesome. Can you share your experience, sir, how to produce quality of writing, especially in journalism?
Actually, during the hiring procedure, during the recruitment, of course, I have to select those who are already possessing potentials and skills. After that, I told them that they have been accepted in the newspaper or the publication, but the way they will stay there is their attitude. So I have to look for the attitude of the staffers. I am after the attitudes or the behaviors of the students, because if the morality is right, it's easier to teach them how to write and how to win. Because I will ask them if they are willing to learn. I will give them actually different topics out of the blue. For example, I have this one staffer who actually asked me why I gave that topic. I asked him to write a poem, but the poem is about the beauty of dying. That you love how to die.
Yeah.
So it's another story. And during our press work or during our practice, I had just imagine more than 20 staffers giving training with only me as the advisor. So I will give my students, so for example, you are the one who will write the news article, and I will assign the topic to all my staffers. Then all of a sudden, one will come to me while finished or while reading. I am changing my mind that, okay, I will be judging news article. So I have to make sure that my perspective is the news article. So I have to check. Then I will give another topic to the student. Then I will get another paper from opinion. Then I will judge. I will give the comments. Then so on. Then I will also give my students, oh, this is the topic. You have to draw. You have to sketch. Okay, this is the topic. You have to take pictures in photojournalism. So this is the one I am looking for. This is the one that I don't want to see in your output, and so on. So I am the one, I have to shift my perspective from checking the news article to opinion to photos to sketches. So it will really take a lot of patience and of course dedication, because I want my students to, or my staffers to win. I told them that we really need to practice, and we did that for a couple of times. And for good, because of their dedication, because of the commitment of the staffers, they won. We won several awards being mentioned a while ago.
Wow. So you are checking this all this one by one, sir.
Yes.
Oh my God.
And aside from that, I have to check their outputs, the ones that we're going to produce, because that is the training for individual categories. And take note, in 2 categories. For example, news writing in English, news writing in Filipino.
Yeah.
Then photojournalism in English, photojournalism in Filipino. Writing a poem in English, writing a poem in Filipino. And I have to think of different topics. So probably we have 7 categories times 2, 14. Then most of the time I give each of them 2 or 3 topics in a day. So I have to think also some topics. And for the magazine, I have to check the articles in the magazine. That would be over less than 100 or more than 100 pages. It's for the magazine. Yes, and I have to check also the photos and the layout. So this is not good layout, this is not a good photo, you change the photo. That's for the magazine. We still have the newsletter with 50 or 30 plus pages. Then the broadsheet is longer. Then we have the literary folio, wherein that is the composition of short stories, poems, and others. So I have to check all of them. And all of these periodicals were also being sent to what they call this group category. If we have the individual category, we have the group category, and all of our publications or periodicals also won awards in different pages. So best in news page, best in sports page, in opinion feature, in poetry, and so many more. So many categories in every paper. I have to check them all.
We're only listening with the known channels.
But aside from that, we still have social media. That even if I am already about to sleep at night, if there is already an activity like this, they have to make an article, send to me via Messenger, via Facebook, and I have to edit, and I will send back to the layout artist or the news editor, and the news editor will edit, and then I will talk with the layout artist and the editor-in-chief. Then all of a sudden, we have the post in our social media. That's how rigorous. That's why it will really need your dedication to be a publication advisor.
For journalism, it needs a lot of effort.
Yes, very much.
And we need to know how you can handle it because it needs a lot of effort, you need a lot of dedication into it, a lot of time. Can you tell us more about how to keep it stable?
It's a matter of trust. So I asked my staffers, since we have the editorial board, we have the list of names. You are the AIC, the editor-in-chief, you are the associate editors, you are the section editor of news, you are for the sports, you are for the feature. I am giving you the full trust. So the news editor has his own staffers. He has to manage that. I only need to talk with sometimes with the editor-in-chief. How's your editors? So I will be talking. So if there will be a problem, I ask them, try to settle on your level. If you cannot deal the problem, then try to send me the issue and we will solve. But as much as possible, try to solve the problems, try to solve the articles in your level so that I am giving you the power. I am trying to empower my staffers. The power is not solely to me. I am giving powers to my students because they need that. In the future, they will also lead. So I don't want to train I don't want to train only leaders. I don't want to train only journalists. I want to train leaders. But I'm telling them that after their stay in the publication, they must learn something from me. And now, some of them are already speakers, judges, and some of them are already publication advisors also. So it's a good thing that they learn a lot. They are dedicated. They are very much willing to learn. Again, the credits are not for me. The credits are for the students because even if I give rules, if they will not follow, nothing will happen. So it means they succeeded because they followed the rules.
We respect your leadership.
So that's really awesome. Do you have any tips and tricks for us to be a writing skill like you?
Tips. For how many times I have been discussing this. You may enter the publication because of your skills, but you need to stay there because of your attitude. So your attitude matters. If you do not have the attitude to learn and to train yourself, nothing will happen. So it's easy to train. What's difficult is to train the behavior. So I have to establish first the behavior of the staffers, and that is the problem sometimes of being an advisor. Aside from being an advisor of the paper, I also need to be somewhat apparent to them because sometimes they are not submitting articles on time. I have to find out why, and they have family problems, financial problems, sometimes even love life, and I have to deal all of those things. So I need to understand where they are going to. Then sometimes, sir, can I rest for a while? What do you mean by rest for a while? I will not be active for quite time because I am having a problem. Then I will just say, okay, how many months? If the staffer say, probably sir, 2. Okay, I'm giving you 2 months. But when you come back, make sure you can really make it. So I give my staffers rest if they need to, because we also prioritize the mental health. But I have to make sure that they are doing their job. That's the difficult part to balance.
Yeah.
That you have to trust them, at the same time you have to take care of them. So I had to be an advisor, an editor, a coach, a parent, and sometimes a friend listening to their love stories. And I love that.
Can you tell us your impression about today?
About today.
Today.
One, I am excited. Though I am also excited in the previous days, but what made me more excited today is one, I will be teaching with students major in Bahasa. I told them that I'm so very proud of them because they took this because they are very proud of their language, and I want to meet these people. It's very hard to discuss Bahasa among people who are speaking the language, because as if, why do you need to learn the language if you are already speaking it? But I have this a particular book by I forgot the Robert Parker, the author, Audenville Alls, wherein the teacher there is being asked why they still need to study the English grammar, and the teacher told them that if you don't know correct English, you can only speak what you know. The same with Bahasa. Even if they are already speaking the language, they can only speak what they know. Okay? And for the second one, about journalism, that is actually my first love. It's not actually education which is my first love. It's not my first choice. I don't want to be a teacher before. I just want to be a journalist. That's why I took Bachelor of Secondary Education, major in English, because I found out that there is a particular subject there about campus journalism. And I'm so excited a while back because I will be teaching journalism again. And in the Philippines, I am invited as a speaker in journalism, but this time it's different. They are not staffers, but they are students major in English with journalism subject. So I'm so excited.
You're awesome, so you can handle a lot of things and you enjoy a lot of things.
And hopefully my students also enjoy the classes. The 2024.
It's a long joke.
Sungguh penjelasan yang sangat menarik dari Bapak Darwin. Dari beliau kita bisa mendapatkan banyak ilmu tentang jurnalistik, kepemimpinan yang baik, dan juga manajemen mental emosional beserta dengan keterampilan jurnalistik juga.
Okay, to close the event, we invite Mr. Darwin to give the closing statement.
To the audience.
To the audience.
Yeah.
What will I say to the audience? Okay, so in what aspect should I talk to them?
Maybe perhaps about journalism, or you can give them motivation or a quote sometimes.
A quote. I will try to quote the one I gave yesterday with my students in mathematics, because I was being asked there to discuss the relationship of English in mathematics. So the language has something to do in teaching, but I told them to love teaching mathematics where love is your language. Not Bahasa, not English, not Filipino. As long as you love what you are doing, as if you are not teaching, as if you are not working. Because if you are not interested and if you don't like what you are doing, it seems like you will always be tired of what you are doing. So to our audience, keep on tuning in this podcast. Keep on listening. Enjoy. You will learn a lot from here. I enjoy a lot here. So hopefully we can still see one another, even virtually. And please, to those who are watching, whatever your dream is, remember that you are the captain of your ship. Do not get influenced by many. Do not be affected by their negative comments. Just be the captain of your ship. Just do what you want and just be happy.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your valuable experience with us. That's really amazing. We learned a lot from you. And
We all hope that all of you guys enjoy this video and gain new knowledge from Mr. Darwin today. Dan baik, tidak terasa sampailah kita di penghujung waktu. Kami akhiri podcast PBSI kali ini. Semoga obrolan kita hari ini bisa menginspirasi Sobat Literasi. Jangan lupa untuk like, comment, and subscribe channel ini.
Okay, sir, will you be willing to do this sign when we say salam literasi?
This is for L.
L.
Yeah, L which mean literasi.
Literasi.
Yeah.
Literation. Right?
Raih mimpi lewat aksara, temukan jati diri dalam bahasa. Salam literasi.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Paalam.